welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. Of course, tonight we are doing a recap of Saturday night main events. My name, of course, is KG. I am the host, and my co-host is the wrestling enthusiast. Mark, what's up, bro?
Not much, brother. You?
Oh, I'm doing good. So let's get into it, man. Saturday night main event, something that WWE has been pushing. It was supposed to be exciting. There was a lot of hype. And I got to tell you, I thought last night's main event was it was lame. Look, this is the thing. If this would have been a Raw or a SmackDown, I would say, yeah, it's a pretty good show, right? But because of all the hype, because this was supposed to be something big and special, it wasn't. Nothing happened that was anything special more so than you would see on Raw or SmackDown. This was not very good.
I concur. I was pretty let down. Now, I also take into account that I'm not a teenage boy getting excited for Monday Night Event, but it didn't seem to have the fanfare it used to. You know, you always expected something exciting to happen, and every match was pretty much what I expected it to be. Who win the winner, the losers, whatnot. Um, Now, did my 7-year-old nephew have the excitement? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet. Um, but yeah, there was just not a whole lot of fanfare. I mean, I guess to me the highlight was probably Jesse Ventura being on there, and even that was kind of a letdown a little bit. But
Yeah,
it was good to hear Jesse's voice again. I guess.
yeah. What I liked was Jesse went directly to being that heel, right? And that's what I like. The only thing that really happened that you would say is, I don't know if I'd say it's exciting or a shocker, was after it went off the air, which we'll talk about that once we get to that match, right? But yeah, I was disappointed. But yeah, let's get to the matches.
All right, so we start with Sammy versus Drew McIntyre. This kind of win as expected. I'd be hard pressed for Sammy to actually beat Drew, to be honest. With the size difference. I give Sammy credit. He's got all the ability, all the talent, but he's still, 205, 5'11", versus somebody that's 6'8", a solid 270, 280. You know, I'm sorry, the laws of physics just don't work that way for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to even add about that match. I mean, this was your typical, Monday Night Raw match that, is the first or second match. It was definitely, I would even call this a lower mid card match. I really would.
I'd say mid card. I don't know if I'd say lower, but
Yeah.
yeah, we ran ahead when you said first or second match. My first thought was first match.
Yeah.
All right, so next we go to Liv versus Io Sky. Actually, this match was actually better than I thought it would be. And when Io Sky did the three German suplexes and rolled up over on top of her, I was like, all right, I haven't seen that before. You know, um, so I mean, I'll give this one props. It was a good match, but again, it was a SmackDown match, not a main event match. And if it was, there should have been some sort of fanfare, some sort of interference with Raquel and Rhea. You know, liven up a little bit, and maybe they were going for a no interference match, which most of the matches were.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I thought Saturday Night Main Event was so lame that this match, Liv versus Io Sky, was the match of the night.
The highlight. Yep, almost. So next we go to Damian Finn and Gunther. Now, during this match, it looked like when Damian went over the top rope, it looked like he almost missed it. All right. Then when Gunner tried to dump him on the steps, Damian's feet got hooked on the steps. But give Gunther credit, man. He powered through it. He got him dumped on it. And then he
It's
then he rolls in and dumps Finn. Now, I got a question because we talk about dad bods, and Walter's right on that cusp of dad bod. You know,
Well, I tell you, Walter lost a lot of weight, and he was looking really good there for a while. It looked like he put a little bit of weight back on, and he may not be hitting the gym as much as he was. At least that's what it looked like. But man, you can't take nothing against Walter, or not Walter. You can't be calling him Walter. Um,
Gunther.
uh, huh?
Gun-
Gunther. Yeah. Man, you can't take anything away from Gunther. He showed how strong he was because for him to power through the way he did with Damian Priest for that slam on the steps, that took some power. And for a minute there, I got a little worried that someone was going to get hurt there for a second, but he pulled through and yeah. I mean, the match, it wasn't a terrible match. It wasn't a terrible match, right? But again, their performance wasn't on that. Look, I think maybe this is the problem. I was expecting pay-per-view performances, right? Because professional wrestlers, if you compare their performance on TV versus these pay-per-view matches, it does look like that they hype themselves up. They put on more of that performance on pay-per-views. And maybe that's why what I was expecting and why I'm let down. Because this match again, it wasn't terrible, but this was a SmackDown Raw match.
right. Well, I guess during PPLs, and I really hate that term, but whatever. Um,
It's PLEs.
I know. Well, whatever. PLEs. I hate PLEs. The term. Anyways, there is a certain level of expectations on performance. Now, with that being said, I think Saturday Night Main Event, there is a certain level of expectations. All right, it's better. It should be better than a weekly show, but it might not be a WrestleMania moment. All right, but I am expecting some WrestleMania surprises during this. All right,
But this is the thing, and I agree with you, with the exception of this was their first Saturday night main event that they hyped up. So much so that in a way it kind of was supposed to be like a PLE, except it was, on NBC or whatnot, right?
well,
I mean, they hyped it. They went as far as going old school with what the refs were wearing, with the bow ties and stuff like that, bringing Jesse Ventura back for this. So yeah, I was expecting a PLE type performance, and we didn't get that. And again, I was really disappointed.
yeah, yeah. Um, Next we got Michin versus Chelsea. This went almost textbook to what we thought it would go. You know, this was a good match though. I'll give them that. I knew they'd go with Chelsea just because I think she's more marketable. I guess is the way I want it. But I really wanted Mitchin to win.
Yeah, seeing Chelsea win that belt, it made me not interested in any storylines moving forward they're going to have for that belt because again, you know how I feel about Chelsea Green. Not a fan whatsoever. I don't think she's good in the ring. I don't think that she's that great on the mic, and she just annoys me. So that's how I feel, and I'm not gonna change my mind about it. It is what it is. You're right. We wanted Michi to win. Now Chelsea Green will forever be known as the first U.S. women's title holder, and that makes me really sad.
And we'll never hear the end of it.
Nope. I hope that WWE decides. I hope that Triple H realizes that, man, we should have signed Tessa Blanchard. And they put Tessa Blanchard in a match with Chelsea Green. And if that happens, I hope Tessa Blanchard is stiff as hell and she beats the shit out of Chelsea Green. By the way, speaking of Tessa Blanchard, she made her debut on TNA on one of their pay-per-views. But um Jordan Gracie, I think, is the wrestler's name. I could be for. I'm not real big. I haven't really been following TNA. There's rumors that Gracie's leaving for WWE. But Tessa Blanchard came in and she was dressed in, black hoodie with a mask and black sweats and tennis shoes. And man, she pulled Gracie out the ring and whipped her ass, and it looked legit. It was phenomenal. She looked amazing. And when she pulled off that mask, she got a reaction. So again, good for you, Tessa Blanchard. You deserve all the success in the world. Um, and yeah, she looked phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Triple H really missed the mark with her.
I think he's kind of hamstrung with that one because I think HR is saying not to take her because of her past.
Dude,
They,
but yet they're bringing Hulk Hogan in.
right? But again, you're talking apples to oranges because Hogan's made how much money versus Tessa Blanchard? You know, I know, I understand what you're saying. I do. I completely understand it. But an appearance by Hogan can raise $250,000. What's an appearance by Tessa going to bring? 20,000.
Hulk Hogan is an old, washed up wannabe.
I
Fuck
understand.
Hulk Hogan. That's
Argue.
my.
It's all about business and money.
I get it, but if you look at long term, Tesla Blanchard will bring in more money long term than Hulk Hogan will bring in for these one offs because she's young and she has a bright future ahead.
She's not
And
that
she
young.
can add a lot to the women's division. My God, and we talked about this. A match between her and Charlotte Flair, dude, that is a WrestleMania level main fucking event.
Yes, it is. But that's one event. How many events has Hogan had at WrestleMania?
But we're talking about the
9.
past. We're
Right.
talking about the past, right? But hold up. We're talking about the past. They're bringing them in for these one offs. You're talking about money. Again, Hulk Hogan, old, washed up, won't ever get much out of him. Yeah, he'll bring in some money for these one offs. We're talking about bringing in a young woman who is absolutely hot, who is, again, we both agree, in the top fucking five, if not the top three exactly, professional wrestlers. And I put her up against a lot of men as well as far as being the top. She is that damn good. On the long term, they will absolutely get a lot more currently with Tessa Blanchard than they will with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but you're talking quantity versus quality. One of Hogan's appearances is 10 of hers, 15 of hers.
You say that, but look, there's a lot of the talent backstage that doesn't want anything to do with Hogan, and there's a lot of the fanfare that doesn't want to have anything to do with Hogan that actually supports Tessa Blanchard.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying right now, Hogan still carries more money than Tessa Blanchard.
I disagree, but move on because we would agree about this.
All right, so next we go to Cody versus Kevin. And this really didn't excite me. I was kind of hoping for Randy Orton to come out and drop somebody. I was expecting Randy Orton to come out and drop somebody.
I agree. When Cody Rhodes did the RKO and Kevin, right? And then when at some point in the match, Kevin, hey Randy, I was really expecting Randy to come in and actually drop Cody. That's what I was hoping for. I really was. Because this feud between Cody and Kevin is still going to go on because Cody won the match. But after it went off the air, Kevin came back, Hill came back and did a package power driver on Cody Rhodes. And as he was leaving, Triple H came out and Triple H and KO got into it. And it was a shoving match between the two. So I don't know what they're building up to. I don't know if the shoving match between Triple H and KO was to add more equity into this feud between the two. I don't think if that's the case, it's going to work. I surely don't think that they're planning a storyline between Triple H and KO because Triple H can't take any more bumps, supposedly. And the feud between KO and Cody is just fucking boring. Just boring. Sorry, guys, if you guys are a fan of it. I'm not. I don't think it's bringing anything to WWE. The match was it was
Good.
it was barely main event worthy for a SmackDown or a Raw, to be honest with you.
It was average at best. Now, did you get that clip I sent you, or did you see that clip I sent you about Kevin Owens?
No, I was taking care of some stuff. I didn't have a chance to look at it.
Okay, all right. So basically, they're throwing out there that Kevin Owens is going to keep the belt that Cody came out with and claim he's the real world's champion. All right, and Cody's going to be out for an extended period of time due to the pile driver, you know, and Kevin's going to act like the world champion until Cody gets back, with the 1990 world title, and actually looks really close to the WCW title, but whatever. Um, and when Cody comes back, then their feud will resume. Now, there's a million rumors on the internet, so whether this holds any water, I don't know.
Look, even if he keeps the belt, right? Who cares? And it's dumb to begin with. So let me get this straight. So upper management, Triple H, they can prevent him from coming to the arenas, right? Keeping him in his car, but yet they don't have the power to take that belt away from them. It doesn't make sense and it's dumb. And again, we've seen storylines like this before where someone took the champion's belt and they kept it, and that was part of the feud, and it worked, right? Because the feud was a hot feud. Who cares? It's boring. You know, Cody, the thing with, and a lot of people will disagree with me, but the whole Cody Rhodes and finishing his story has now gone stale, in my opinion. And Cody as champion does not interest me anymore. And him being the cookie cutter good guy doesn't interest me anymore. Cody Rhodes needs to be refreshed in some way, shape, or form. And this feud with KO doesn't help it.
You know what they really need to do?
Turn him heel?
No, they really need to bring in Dustin as a heel to kick Cody's ass.
That would be good. Look, when him and Dustin had that match at AEW, that was a phenomenal, like one of the great, that's going to go down in history as one of the greatest matches within the Rhodes matches, right? But real quick, did you and I don't know how we missed this on the last podcast, but when KO talked about, Cody Rhodes is the Stardust thing, did you notice when he came to the ring, KO had a Stardust shirt on?
No, I did not.
So look, I'm not saying that there's not some good moments or some little funny things that's happened, doing the promos between the two. But the actual in ring just doesn't work for me. And I'll be honest with you, I like KO as far as his promos and stuff like that. I'm not a big KO fan when it comes to his matches because I just don't think they're that great.
I'm not a KO fan, period. Yeah, he can cut some decent promos, and you know, I bet you I could punch both of you at one time. That was great. Yeah, he can cut some great promos, and he's good at that. But his in ring, I have not really enjoyed him. I guess the only thing that really I enjoyed was that first night when he beat John Cena.
Right.
Because he was fresh, he was something different. He had that dad bod. He wasn't that 260, chiseled chest, you know, and he pinned Cena that first night. All right. So that threw me. All right. So that gave me some interest. But after that, it was the same old song and story, you know.
Yeah. KO, his original finish, the KO bomb or whatever he called it, he threw him against the ropes, picked him up.
Yep.
That finisher was okay, but I tell you, him doing a stunner, it looks terrible. It really does. I'm sorry. It is a terrible, terrible version of the stunner. I'm not a fan of it. I think he should go back to his power bomb because the stunner thing just doesn't work for me.
I think it's called a pop-up power bomb, I
Yeah,
think.
the pop-up bar power bomb. That's it. Yeah.
First me about the stunner is even Austin will tell you that it shortened his career, you know, because you can't just drop, that kind of weight on its ass, you know, even with the give of the ring, it's gonna affect your back and your spine and your neck to a degree, you know. So why anybody would do it, just like a flying headbutt, you know. Dave Boy Smith, Chris Benoit, both suffered brain damage because of it. Okay, so why would you continue doing this stuff? But you're worried about a pile driver, which can be a safe move.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But like I said, as far as visual, KO looks terrible during the stunner. I mean, look, put it to you this way: this show was so lame that within 21 minutes of this podcast, we've covered everything. Um, with nothing much else to talk about. I mean, that's just how lame this show
We
was.
could have covered it in 7 minutes or less.
Yeah, I agree. And on that note, I really don't have anything else to say. I mean, I will give this, I would grade this as a C because it is nothing against the performers, right? Decent matches, but WWE, in my opinion, failed to deliver the hype that they were pushing behind this.
Yep. It lacked the fanfare, like I said. You know, it's like going to the midway at a county fair versus the midway at the state fair. You know, we got the county fair and we got ripped off hard. You know, I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just because I'm not that teenage boy and looking forward to that fanfare. You know, or maybe I'm just older and expect more. I don't know, but I just felt like I got ripped off, and I'm glad I didn't have to pay for this.
No, because I just think yeah, it was lame. Grade wise, would you give it?
I gave it a C minus, and actually, I thought Collision from Friday night was better, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I have not yet watched. I
Ramp,
watched Rampage. I haven't watched Collision yet.
I haven't either yet, but I watched Collision right after this. I'm like, God damn, this is actually better than.
Well, Rampage to me, I tell you why I think Rampage was at least on equal grounds as Saturday Night Main Event. I got exactly what I expected from Rampage. Exactly what I expected.
No,
Wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was just, it is what it was, right?
no, you got what you expected.
Exactly.
You got what you paid for.
Because WWE let me down on the main event, Saturday main event, that lowered it to the level of Rampage to me.
Not only that, but I think it lowers my expectation for Raw and SmackDown next week too. I really do.
No, let me tell you what it does. It lowers my expectation for the hype that they're putting on Raw on January 6th when it goes to Netflix. Because, like I said, if their big special main event is Roman Reigns versus Solo, that's going to be a failure in my opinion because to me that is not a huge special main event. It's really not.
No, see now, Solo to me is a mid Carter. You know, the fact that he's made it as far as he has is purely purely luck, and someone likes him. All right. To me, Solo has always been and always will be, and Arn Anderson just an enforcer. You know, and that's hard for me to say because Arn Anderson is probably one of the best workers ever, in my opinion. All right, but he earned the nickname the Enforcer, and so did Solo, and that's where Solo is at. But Solo will never reach Arn Anderson level of greatness.
I think if you really wanted to elevate this new bloodline, I think Jacob Fatu should have been or should take over as being the leader because he is unpredictable, and you can add that element of you don't know what you're going to get with this bloodline.
Right, but who do you want to be your leader? Somebody that's unpredictable, somebody that's crazy, somebody that's a little loco, or somebody you can look up to. Jacob Fatu is not that person you look up to. Jacob Fatu is who you pray to when you're walking down a dark alley and hope that he's there to protect you.
Yeah, but then who do you put? Because it's not Solo.
Yeah, it's not Solo. No, it's got to be, I don't know. It's got to be back Roman or you know, I don't know if Jake can even pull it off. To be honest, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it's definitely not Solo. It's definitely not Jacob. Jacob just for obvious reasons. He doesn't. They haven't presented him that way. Can you see
Exactly.
3-piece suit?
No.
Right, right. All right. So as a tribal leader, you want somebody to represent, you know, in a particular way, and Jacob hasn't been portrayed that way yet.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree. I don't know. I'm sure that we'll have plenty of time to talk about that as the upcoming shows. I just hope that Saturday night main event is not setting the pace for what we're going to be seeing this week with professional wrestling with WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and even Dynamite. To be honest with you, I hope this isn't this. We're about to have a bad week of wrestling because the past couple of weeks have been pretty good.
well, it is coming up to Christmas, and a lot of these companies are giving their help time off now.
Right,
You know,
right.
so we might
And
uh, uh, a lower expectation of standards.
maybe, and look, I'm okay with that. These guys deserve to be able to spend holidays with their family. That's why the upcoming shows won't be live. They will be pre-taped, and that's fine. Let these guys spend some time with their family. Let them get some rest. Because I think when you do stuff like that, you get a better quality of match because these guys have a somewhat of a better home life. At least that's what's happening with Raw SmackDown. I'm not sure with Dynamite if what they're doing for the holidays because Christmas falls on a Wednesday. So I'm
It'll
not
be.
sure, but I really hope that I hope that the guys from AW are able to spend time with their family, and Wednesday night will be pre-taped as well.
I'm pretty sure we'll be.
Yeah, and speaking of that, um, I am leaving for the holidays on this coming Friday, and I'll be going for a week. I was thinking about just doing a podcast on the road, but I think I'm just going to spend time with my family. It's be the first time I've spent Christmas with my family back home in Louisiana in 20 years. So I think I'm just going to spend the time with them. So after our after our Thursday night coverage of AEW Dynamite, the podcast will be off for about a week and a half before we're back. Matter of fact, I think we'll be back on the 29th, maybe. So there is the AEW's their pay-per-view the Saturday after Christmas, and I'll be getting back at that time. So I was planning on doing a recap of that pay-per-view that Sunday after Christmas. So that's probably when we'll be back with the podcast. Is the Sunday after Christmas?
All right, and just to be clear, we're not recapping everything we missed.
Nope.
All right, fair enough, because I'll get a hand cramp.
No, we won't. But anyway, yeah, that's the podcast for the recap of Saturday Night Main Event. I know we weren't as enthusiastic as we normally are on the podcast, but just kind of what happened with the Saturday Night Main Event. It was just nothing. And like I said, when you're getting a grade of a C and a C minus, that says a lot.
Yep,
Yep. So anyway, Mark, what you got?
nothing, man. Ring the damn bell.
Ring the damn bell, guys. And we'll see you on Tuesday for a recap of Monday Night Raw. Everyone, have a good one.
Unless it's like Saturday night main event, then I'm boycotting it.